Tank, he good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. He has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's a wrap.
All-time greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Is he really capable of winning this fight? Errol Spence was left stunned, openly praising Terence Crawford's unbelievable preparation for the Canelo Showdown. Having shared the ring with Crawford, Errol knows firsthand his exceptional ring IQ and elite skill set, but watching his recent training left him in awe. The speed, precision, and masterful footwork on display were unreal. Crawford looked like a monster in motion, sharp, explosive, and laser-focused. This version of Terence Crawford is a dangerous force that Canelo cannot afford to underestimate.
Step right here and roll.
When Terence Crawford reflected on his battle with Errol Spence, the mutual respect between the two elite fighters was undeniable. Known for his patient and cerebral approach, Crawford explained how he methodically breaks down his opponents, setting them up before unleashing devastating flurries of punches.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
And given that everybody say, "Oh, he's a big puncher," he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think he has a one punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like boom, sleep. I think it's like bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right. Yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him like knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You always see him like wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening. And those little punches that wasn't hurting start hurting.
Former world champion and analyst Chris Algieri offered a sharp perspective when comparing Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Algieri noted that while Crawford has consistently dominated his opponents and maintained control in nearly every fight, Canelo has shown moments where he was clearly overwhelmed. What boxing insiders call getting bossed. A prime example was Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol, where Bivol's size, jab, and disciplined approach dictated the bout. Algieri's analysis underscores the idea that Crawford, even while moving up in weight, brings a style built on control, adaptability, and technical mastery, traits that have historically troubled even elite champions.
And Terence Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys, number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford, looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that. But I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare. Maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So if we're talking about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that psychologically, when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic, even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights, and Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation. When he gets that in his head that he's got an extra chip, he becomes a really dangerous man.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman offered a balanced breakdown, noting that while both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez bring unique advantages to the table, Crawford holds the edge based on recent performances and overall skill set. Kellerman emphasized Crawford's elite timing, switch-hitting versatility, and surging knockout power, which have reached new heights in recent years. In contrast, he pointed out that Canelo, though still undeniably elite, has shown subtle signs of slowing down, particularly in his movement and offensive aggression. Still, Kellerman acknowledged Canelo's significant size advantage, which could play a major role in clinches and exchanges. But weighing all factors, speed, precision, defense, and adaptability, Kellerman leaned toward Crawford as the more complete and currently sharper fighter.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally smaller fighter.
The dynamics of this mega fight are compelling. On one side, Terence Crawford is entering uncharted territory by moving up in weight, a move that often tests a fighter's speed and stamina. On the other, Canelo Alvarez, though experienced at this level, is no longer the same explosive force he once was. Recent performances have shown Canelo relying more on calculated control than the relentless pressure of his prime, and his ability to secure knockouts has noticeably waned. This creates an intriguing balance. While Crawford faces a significant physical challenge, Canelo's subtle decline in certain areas levels the playing field. If Crawford delivers his best, sharp footwork, elite ring IQ, and relentless stamina, his path to victory becomes very real.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter. And the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising boxing star Abdullah Mason voiced strong confidence in Terence Crawford, predicting not just a win but one that could shock many spectators. Mason highlighted that Crawford's power, often underrated, has the potential to surprise the world. While the prevailing narrative frames Canelo as the stronger fighter due to his size, Mason challenged that notion, pointing out Crawford's ability to generate fight-changing power through timing, angles, and precision. If Crawford can land cleanly and consistently, especially in the later rounds, Mason's bold prediction may very well come true.
I'll say Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter that night.
Dimitri Bivol, the man who handed Canelo Alvarez a recent loss, offered high praise for Terence Crawford. Having observed Crawford up close, Bivol noted that he has bulked up impressively and possesses the skill set needed to win this fight. Bivol's opinion carries significant weight. He knows firsthand what it takes to beat Canelo and believes Crawford has that same potential. He emphasized Crawford's discipline, speed, and intelligence as critical assets. When a fighter of Bivol's caliber backs someone, it's a strong signal that this matchup is far more competitive than it may look on paper.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but. There is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself at the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able. He has good skills. He's awkward. He can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jamel Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean, obviously
Keith Thurman offered a nuanced perspective on the matchup, noting that while the fight may appear evenly matched to casual fans, a deeper technical breakdown reveals key imbalances. Pointing to Canelo Alvarez's recent bout with Jermall Charlo, Thurman highlighted how Canelo struggled when faced with smart movement and disciplined footwork. Despite being the aggressor, Canelo failed to effectively cut off the ring or land with authority once Charlo relied on his ring IQ. Thurman suggested that Terence Crawford, an even more cerebral and strategic fighter than Charlo, could exploit those same weaknesses, potentially creating even greater problems for Canelo.
And, we ain't getting punched in the face, so let's just watch the show and enjoy, people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just watch what these champions do. No matter what they do, they're both great. They're both going to continue to be great, but by the end of the day, one will be above the other.
Your eyes?
It's not like, I think a lot of people are going to lean towards Canelo. I don't want to say it's like, I feel like for the fans, it's coming off 50-50. Like it's hard for me to really commit, because this is what happened, right? When Canelo just fought the Charlo, right? When he just fought Charlo, he knocked Charlo down. But after he knocked Charlo down and Charlo was using ring movement, he never hit Charlo with another big shot. Okay? This is what Keith Thurman is watching. I'm not saying like, oh, Canelo didn't do good. Like, Canelo dominated. That fight he dominated, right? But let's just pay attention to little details, right? After he got dropped, he never got hurt again. Why, you ask? Why did Canelo not hurt him again? Oh, because he was on his bike, because he was using lateral movement, because he was watching with his eyes, and because he was being, attentive with his defense, and he was able to make Canelo miss, but he was not able to make him pay.
His podcast, Joe Rogan, joined by comedian and boxing enthusiast Mike Vecchione, offered glowing praise for Terence Crawford. Rogan described Crawford as a great and dangerous athlete, highlighting his exceptional skills, relentless mentality, and elite work ethic. He noted that the Canelo fight represents not just a massive challenge, but also a career-defining opportunity for Crawford, both financially and in terms of legacy. Rogan didn't hold back, calling Crawford arguably one of the greatest boxers alive today and emphasizing that this moment could cement his place among the all-time greats, in his own words. Crawford shared his mindset for the looming clash. He openly acknowledged the size disparity, recognizing that Canelo may try to use his weight and pressure to wear him down. Yet, Crawford remained calm and confident, stating that he is fully prepared for every scenario. This mindset reflects more than just physical readiness, it shows psychological maturity. He isn't underestimating Canelo, he's respecting the challenge while trusting his ability to adapt. It's this rare blend of humility and unshakable self-belief that makes Crawford such a dangerous and intelligent fighter.